What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Road to Fantasy Football Legacy, Episode 3. Recapping Week 2 and looking forward to Week 3. And a lot of transactions happened. So let's start off. So Week 2, I took on Ryan, and I won 102.5 to 82.5. Most because Tom Brady didn't do shit for him. Like I knew he wouldn't be, a number 5 pick in a fantasy football league. So let's see here. Andrew Luck got me 19.5 points, lower than last week, but still, obviously I won, so it was enough to win. I was trying to keep this flat. CJ Spiller picked it up finally, 14 points. That transaction I made with Trey, Hal Warriors, Hal, for Colin Kaepernick, for Darren McFadden. McFadden got me 14 points. Colin Kaepernick only got Trey 1 point this week, so I won that trade. And Calvin Johnson picked it up big time, 21 points. Last week he barely got me anything, as did Spiller. He didn't give me nothing last week, but this week they picked it up. Reggie Wayne, he had 11 points last week. This week 3. Obviously Luck and the Colts and Wayne were struggling this week against Miami, obviously because they lost. Greg Olsen, Panthers tight end, picked me up 11 points. It's really nice to have a tight end that'll pick up, double digits. So that's good. Maurice Drew for the second one in a row has not done shit for me. So we're going to have to figure out what we're doing next week. That'll be later on. He only got me 2 points this week, and they got great jerseys, but not performing too well, that whole team in general. Let's see here. And the Bengals D on Monday Night Football got 11 points on the Steelers. And then Bryant, the Falcons kicker, got me 7 points. Alright, my bench, Steve Smith picked me up 4. Dwayne Bowe picked me up 8. Pierre Garçon, 16. Really wish I had him in, but I still won, so it doesn't matter. Chris Givens got me 9 points. Thomas, I think his name's Julian Thomas, for a tight end for Broncos that did really good first week. Yeah, got me 9 points on the bench. I had Chris Johnson, running back for the Tennessee Titans, got me 9 points on the bench. And Julian Edelman got me 7 points. So, let's recap who all won, who all lost, and the transactions that were made before this. Obviously, that trade I talked about last week, where I traded Colin Kaepernick for Darren McFadden. I won that trade. And then this week, before week 2 started, Trey added Kevin Winslow and dropped running back Ronnie Hillman. And Team Moaning added Russell Wilson. Remember, he dropped him, and I thought it was stupid that he dropped him. He ended up adding him back and dropped Ryan Matthews. And also added Michael Vick. His starting quarterback this week was Cam Newton. And he had Michael Vick, and Russell Wilson on the bench, and they scored more points than his starting quarterback, but he still ended up winning. So let's take a look at who won and who lost this week. Ryan lost to me, but his top scorer was the Seahawks D. They got 21 points, which ended up being the defense of the week for week number 2. My fiance Alyssa, Prater Haters, won against Team Bolin. Aaron Rodgers had 52 points for her, and that pretty much carried the team. The rest of her team didn't do much, but she still ended up winning. Team Bolin lost, obviously, to Alyssa. And his Roddy White, Jason Witten, and Rams D got no points for him. So that's kind of a big thing for him. Team Yoning won against Jeremy's team. I got Whedon in my pocket. Jimmy Graham for Meoning got 20 points for him. That's good. That's 20 points from a tight end. They're not supposed to get that much, but he did. Jeremy had Randall Cobb with 16 points and Patriots D with 15 points. So his D looked good. And Randall Cobb, the whole Patriots, the Packers receiving core and running core did really good this week with Aaron Rodgers just exploding in that game. Dylan moves on to 18-0, 2-0 in this league this year against Trey. Trey lost, as I said, pretty much Colin Kaepernick. If Colin Kaepernick would have scored, the 40-some points he was supposed to get this week against Seattle. He would have beat my brother, but he didn't. He only got 1 point with Colin Kaepernick, the quarterback. His starting quarterback, he had RG3 on the bench, and I don't remember who else he has on the bench, but I think Matthew Stafford. So that sucks for him. And my brother, Marshawn Lynch for him. He did horrible for him first week. This week, picked it up 28 points with Marshawn Lynch. So my brother's really excited. He moves on to 18-0 in his fantasy football career from last year's league and this year's league. And that means he's 2-0. He leads his division in the NFC. And so let me take a look here at the standings as they are right now. And let's start off with the NFC since I already brought that up. Dylan's 2-0. Team Meoning and Trey are tied for second with 1-1. And Jeremy's 0-2. My division, I ended up, obviously picked up the win that I need, to go further on in the road to legacy in fantasy football. And so, Alyssa's undefeated this year so far, 2-0. And me and Ryan, who I beat this week, are tied for second, and with 1-1. And Team Bowling is 0-2. And by the way, Alyssa, for the second week in a row, picked up the biggest win against Team Bowling. So that's 2 in a row for her. She's leading the trophy points. And so, good job for her. So let's take a look at week 3. Week 3, I'm playing Bowling. He's 0-2, but I'm never... It all depends on each week. It doesn't matter the schedule, what record you are, because it changes all the time. So, Bowling, I was predicted to beat him 117 to 110, so I'm guessing we're going to have a high-scoring game. Luck is projected to have 25.5 points. Spiller, 14 points. McFadden, 6 points. Calvin Johnson, 17 points. Reggie Wayne, 10 points. Greg Olson, 5 points. Maurice Jones-Drew, 4 points. Bingles D, 10 points. And Bryant, 11 points. I'm actually going to sit Greg Olson this week just to see what Thomas can do, because he's supposed to get 10 points. So instead of Olson starting this week, it'll be Thomas. And I'm also going to sit Maurice Jones-Drew for 2 weeks of having a horrible game, and it's projected to have 4 points. That's not a lot of points. But on the bench, I have Chris Johnson. He's supposed to get 13 points, so he'll be starting. So Olson and Maurice Jones-Drew are out this week. Thomas and Chris Johnson are in. And Steve Smith on the bench is supposed to get me 10. Dwayne Bowe, 7. Pierre Garçon, 4. Chris Givens, I ended up dropping him after I'd made this. So he isn't on my team, but he was supposed to get 2 points. And Edelman, I don't have no more. I dropped him, added Giovanni Bernard, the Bengals backup running back, maybe starting running back. He's supposed to get 11 points. He had that big game Monday night. Remember, I originally drafted him on my last pick, but dropped him because he didn't produce, and I was like, maybe not. He's a rookie. I'm not really keen on rookies. So let's take on the transactions after the waivers. Excuse me. Waivers from after week 2 was over. Last night, this all went through. Last night, Trey traded with my fiance. She will receive DeMarco Murray, Antonio Gates, and D'Angelo Williams for Mike Wallace. Wallace, obviously, the Dolphins wide receiver who did really good. Eric Decker and Isaac Redman. So I think that trade for her will help DeMarco Murray, and then D'Angelo Williams could produce. You never know. And Gates, he's back and forth, especially with Philip Rivers doing really good. As of late, he may pick it up. So, but then, after this, right after week 2 was over, Dylan dropped Sean Green. I dropped Edelman, picked up Giovanni Bernard. Jeremy dropped Emmanuel Sanders, added Knowshon Moreno. Me and my brother were talking last night that one of us was probably going to pick up Knowshon Moreno. But then my brother ended up wanting to go after Ryan Matthews, and I went after Knowshon Moreno, but then I stopped and went after Bernard instead. So Jeremy ended up getting Knowshon Moreno. He's going to be good for you, I promise that. He's picking it up to be the starting running back all season long for them. And Meoning, dropped the Steelers D, added the Falcons D. Don't know why he did that. Falcons D, the Chiefs and the Cowboys D is still in there, and I would have picked them up instead. Trey dropped Kevin Winslow, added Marcellus Bennett, the tight end for the Bears. Like I said, I ended up dropping Chris Givens, and then I added Philip Rivers because he is on a hot streak right now, and if luck, starts to slump, I'll put Rivers in. Alyssa dropped Bryce Bowen and picked up Eddie Royal. Eddie Royal's been picking it up too, with Rivers. Jeremy dropped Miles Austin, added Jermichael Finley, another Packers player. Jeremy dropped Vic Ballard, who's injured, and added Starks, another Packers player. Ryan dropped Darius Heyward-Bey and picked up Pierce, the running back for the Ravens. But I think his name is Bernard Pierce. I'm not for sure. Trey, obviously that trade. And then the more recent one, this was just a couple minutes ago. Jeremy dropped Carson Palmer as backup quarterback and added Alex Smith. Alex Smith was doing good. Also, Matt Schaub's free agent right now in the league. And so is Sam Bradford. I can see them getting picked up here soon. So this is Road to Fantasy Football Legacy, episode 3, I believe. We had the draft. We had week 1. This is week 2. And week 3 will be next Wednesday. So I'm on my way back up. I got my first win, picked it up. A little scared after week 1, but I'm feeling good. Feeling good about my team. I'm feeling good about the players I have. I'm stocked on starting running backs, I should say. And I trimmed it up. Trimmed up the beard. So yeah. This is Road. This is episode number 3. And Nipsters, stay crispy.